Well, I haven't hit record on the phone yet, but
Okay.
that's
Go
fine.
ahead.
I mean,
Oh,
if you're
sure,
ready,
okay. Those are weird fucking checks.
I guess we gotta do this. I wonder if I can do. I really probably only need one clap.
Okay.
Nah, let's just. I mean, three.
Do you want?
Three. 1, 2, 3. It's better to have three to work with.
Gotcha. You ready?
Yeah. I'm going to let you start it off.
Oh no, not ready.
And I'm gonna chill.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rev and Filo show. And my lovely co-host here, Reverend.
Well,
Y'all know him, right?
thank you, Felipe. How are you?
Pretty good, man. I did want to mention right off the bat.
Yeah.
I watched this new show on Netflix. Came out on October 4th. I watched it yesterday. Just so it's fresh in my mind. It's called Raising Dion.
Yeah.
Man, it's a good fucking show.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
It's like about a kid who has superpowers, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they? Wasn't there a movie called Brightburn? Did you hear about that movie?
Yeah. So.
I didn't see it,
Mhm.
but supposedly, it's pretty much the story of Superman, but if Superman
It was
became
evil,
a
yeah.
evil guy,
Uh-huh.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, but isn't like Raising Dion a similar premise?
Similar in the way that the kid has superpowers, and it's I don't know if Brightburn has both his parents, but in this one it's just his mother, and his dad was a scientist who died mysteriously. So the mystery
Before he was born?
no, the kid knew him, so he was like he's
Oh, okay.
7 in the movie. So
Okay,
I
in the
mean,
movie,
show,
he's
in the
7,
show,
and he just
so-
starts having powers.
Yeah, he just starts having powers, and so the mystery is, where he got him, and maybe his dad was onto something, and
Yeah.
then, but he's also learning how to use them in school and shit. But
It's
it's
kind of like The Incredibles. Remember when he can't join the track team because he's too fast?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and he has to like downplay his shit.
well, it's funny because he has this guy who's his dad's best friend, and
Mhm.
he tries to be like his mentor, and he eventually he finds out, or like right in the beginning they tell you that he has powers, or he finds out he has powers. So then he tries to he basically says, I'm your Yoda,
Yeah.
because he's on to comic books too. So,
Okay.
So he tries to introduce the kid into comic books and show him like how to be the superhero and be good. So
Mhm.
the mom is trying to have him conceal, and control his powers because he could hurt somebody. She doesn't
Right,
want him to
right,
hurt
right.
anybody. But the guy wants him to pretend like to use his powers, but to use them in a way where people don't notice.
Mhm.
So
You
he's like trying to teach him how to do that.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
I was watching. I watch a lot of like superhero stuff, especially on YouTube. Like a lot. I watch a lot of like reviews
Right.
of like superhero movies. Not just reviews, but like breakdowns. People do a lot of like breakdowns of movies and
Right.
like,
Yeah, like this guy, Emergency Awesome. He does a lot of breakdowns.
yeah. Well, like there's one channel I've come across recently. I actually came across him when I was going up to Oakland a couple weeks ago, and I was on the bus. I had fucking 7 hours to kill, and I came across this YouTube channel called Joe Blow, I think.
Joe
Blow.
Hmm.
And I ended up watching like almost all his videos for like 3 hours straight. But what was my point? Shit. What were we talking about?
Superhero videos. Well, the guy, he's teaching the kid how to use his powers.
Okay,
without
right.
Yeah.
So, I was watching Watch Mojo. I just brought up Joe Blow because he does a lot of like different types of breakdowns of movies. Like
Right.
he has something called the Unpopular Opinion,
Okay.
where he talks about movies that are generally seen as bad movies, but really aren't that bad,
Right. Uh-huh.
And then he does one where it's called "What the Fuck Happened to This Movie." So what they do is he'll take movies that were theatrically released and then sort of talk about the production of it,
Mhm.
on like production hell and all this. Anyways, my point is back to the Raising Dion thing. It's almost like great power comes great responsibility.
They do reference a lot of like Marvel, like.
Well, what's funny, what I was gonna say is I saw Watch Mojo, and it was like saying the 10 most epic like superhero movie moments like of all time, right?
Yeah.
And like it went through all these different ones, like and the main one, the number one was the first Spider-Man movie when Uncle Ben tells Tobey Maguire right before he leaves to go fight Bonesaw or whatever.
Yeah.
He lets him know, like, great power comes with great responsibility. And in the video, it just said how, like, the reason why this moment is so iconic is not only is it something, like, is it a turning point for Spider-Man, but it really is the words that all heroes have to sort of live by. It's really... It applies to all to every superhero that's ever exists. You have to learn to use your powers, I guess.
Yeah, and for those of you that are gonna watch the show, a little bit of spoilers, but the kid does face stuff like that because he's a kid. He's 7 years old, and then he has these bullies. And then he really does face that. With his mom at least, because she knows. When he can use them and when he can, and there was a kid that bullied him, but it also deals with racism, so it's a little bit more modern too. So it's a really good fucking show. Check it out if
what's funny is I told you I was listening to Stern and Seth Rogen was on, right?
Yeah.
And they were actually talking about The Boys. I haven't seen The Boys. I know you told me about it. You like it. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. But anyways, they were talking about The Boys, and he was saying how, like, because Seth Rogen produces it, so he was saying how it's based on on a comic the guy who wrote that comic was the same guy who did Preacher, which is another show that Seth Rogen did that was on TV. It was on a cable channel though, I forget. I never saw it, but I do remember seeing like trailers for it and thinking it was weird that. Like, a producer like Seth Rogen, because Seth Rogen's kind of like known for comedies and stuff. So, anyways, he was saying how the original concept when the guy wrote the original comic was that pretty much that how famous people are really kind of like superheroes, because like when you meet, he goes, when you meet really famous people, it's like they have power. It's like they have tremendous amounts of power sometimes, and then he goes, and like sometimes you meet people that are so famous, like that shit like fucks you up, like it's crazy because this person has so much power. So then the guy who wrote the comic was like, well, what if celebrities, people who had a lot of power, you're the biggest movie star in the world or the biggest singer or the musician, people who are really, really, really famous. What if the Kardashians also like could fly and fucking like, walk through walls and had like crazy shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it kind of built on that idea, but and I just like the comparison of how like famous people who are really famous do have a lot of power in this, and in a sense that makes them more powerful than us normal people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's like if like Frank Gehry, for instance. Man, like I've met him once, and he was just like the most. Like he was just very rude and didn't not care. Yeah, he didn't care for like, because we're ushers, and he just. I don't know. Maybe it was on a bad day, or he just didn't like the way they came off. But they weren't gonna let him in because they didn't recognize him. And the only
and he went crazy.
Yeah, the only updated picture they have of Frank Gehry was on this old like video that was taken in like probably like early 2000s.
Right.
About how because he designed the Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he walks in, and one of the supervisor ushers we're telling, oh, sorry, sir, because he brings in an entourage, and he's just walking up the stairs in the front lobby, like not even caring, just walking up. And then so we're trying to stop him, like, yo, sir, we need your ticket. And then one of the supervisors came in and was like, excuse me, sir. And then some lady in his entourage was like,
wait, what supervisor? Like a senior? Or?
Yeah, like a senior. I just don't want to give the name. But anyway.
Right. But I mean, you say supervisor, there's a lot of different types of supervisors.
Yeah, well, supervisor, usher, supervisor.
Right.
So the GSR. So then he walks up and he's
And
like,
that narrows it down, you know.
yeah. So then, so he walks up and he tells him, hey, excuse me, sir, or whatever. And then the lady turns around. She's like, oh my God, they don't know who he is. Does he even
Yeah.
know who he is? That's
Mhm.
Frank Gehry. And then he turns around and he goes, oh, sorry, sir, I messed up. I messed up.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know, whatever. And then he looks back at him and goes, yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And then we're like, what? We're like, okay. And he just like, and he goes, yep, you all fucked up. And he walked up and we're just like, what the, like,
It's I'm glad you told that story because again from this Seth Rogen interview, they also talked about this idea that being famous, like really famous, is like a skill, and that not everybody is good at being famous because you get a lot of attention, right? So you have to learn to deal with that sort of attention and that quote unquote power. So, and they were saying like, yeah, there's people who are really good at being famous, and then there's people who are not good at being famous, and they're like, well, what do you mean by that? And then like Snoop Dogg was on too, and he was saying, oh, there's 3 motherfuckers I know that are really really good at being famous, and he's like, who? He goes, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matthew McConaughey. They're really fucking good at being famous. Like, well, what does that mean? He's like, they just know how to handle people. They know how to handle different types of people that come up to them. People who are like, oh wow, and then people who are dicks and like try to like heckle them. They just know how to handle it, like whatever that means, this and that. So, and then also Stu was like, and they realize the power they have, so they know how to make you feel comfortable.
right.
So that you don't feel like all weird about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So an example of that, someone who's probably good at being famous, from my own experience, is however many years back, I was taking tickets at the Walt Disney when I used to be a ticket taker, and I scanned Steven Spielberg's ticket.
Oh, nice.
And I knew who he was because I love movies, and because Steven Spielberg, he's like a fucking. It's like
Who's that?
Yeah, like Abraham Lincoln, like he's fucking like everybody knows who Steven Spielberg is.
Right.
And and I looked up and I go, oh shit, and I was like, wow, because I recognized him immediately, and I said, oh wow, wow, Mr. Spielberg, I really love your movies. That's all I said. I don't know.
Hey, yo, Steven.
Hey, Steve. And he looks at me and he goes, wow, and he smiles and he goes, thanks, man, and he shook my hand, and I go, sure, no problem, and he goes, where's the restroom? And I go, it's like to the left. And he goes, and he was like looking me in the eye, and he goes, cool, thanks, man, and he took off, and it was like, it was a weird feeling because I felt really good afterwards. And I was like, wow, that was Steven Spielberg, and he was like really nice.
Yeah.
He didn't make me feel like I was being a weirdo for calling him out. You know what I'm saying? He knows he's famous.
Yeah.
And maybe I handled myself well, so he was like, "Oh, this guy seems like a nice guy. Hey, thanks." Blah, and that was it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
in
a sense, going back to how famous people are like superheroes because they have this power, and then and the idea that with great power you got to know how to handle that power. Frank Gehry, from what you're saying, sounds like he's not good at being famous.
Yeah.
As opposed to, and what's funny is, we know Frank Gehry because we work at the building he designed. But, unless you're an architect, like I have a cousin who's an architect.
Right.
My dad's cousin, my cousin David. Frank Gehry's like fucking Jimi Hendrix, to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in architect world, that's one of the big dogs. So he knows. But other than us and my cousin, I don't think a lot of people know who Frank Gehry is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then for him
as opposed to Steven Spielberg, who's like culturally significant. But you could almost compare it to Frank Gehry. If Frank Gehry and Steven Spielberg were given real superpowers, let's just say similar power, they can fly and they have super strength. Frank Gehry would obviously be a villain because he doesn't know how to handle that power, and Steven Spielberg would be a hero.
In The Boys, they're superheroes, but
they're just dicks.
Yeah, they're just dicks. Or they're.
I never seen it.
They mean
actually,
well, like they're just corrupt superheroes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in The Watchmen. That's kind of what The Watchmen is about a little bit, where like the government either it starts because like remember the government they get rid of all the superheroes, but then they keep the comedian and Dr. Manhattan, and they're kind of like superhero ambassadors, but they're under the control of the government.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing.
So they,
but the reason why I was thinking about a lot about this Raising Dion one, because it's so good. But then Disney Plus is coming out this November, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. If you pre-order now, I think you get November 12th will be the date. And I was thinking because it's going to be their huge competitor. Like, what's going to happen to Netflix? Do you think it's gonna like just go down? Do you think?
What's going to happen to Netflix?
Yeah, because here's what the CEO of Netflix said with their competition and Disney coming out, and then their Disney movies are not going to be pulled until December 11th.
There's a lot of stuff that isn't owned by Disney.
Yeah.
That I like to watch. Disney, they got like movies, right? But like I don't know, Disney kind of like, to me Disney like is either Pixar, and talking about modern day, at least since the turn of the century,
right?
Pixar and like the MCU and Star Wars. That's what I think now when I think of Disney.
They've also.
I don't even think of like Disney just its own thing.
Yeah, they're also gonna have all like seasons of The Simpsons, like all 30 seasons.
Because they bought Fox. Yeah, holy shit!
All of them are going to be on Disney Plus when it drops on November 12th. That's one of the main reasons why. Because I think I told you that I wanted to watch like old Simpsons episodes, but I don't know where to watch them, and they're kind of hard to find online unless I buy the DVD.
I would honestly, because we used to at my apartment we used to have we used to pay for something called Sling TV, which is the internet TV.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they used to have all the Simpsons, season 1 all the way up to season 30, because it was FX, and it was like affiliated with Fox.
It was like on demand, right?
And it was on demand, and you had to watch with commercials, but it was on demand. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was because like it was like the TV edit or what, but like it just doesn't feel the same as when I watch my DVDs, because I have on DVD I have season 4, 5, and 6. I'll lend them to you if you want, because that's the best. You're not going to get any better than season 4 and season 5. Right. those seasons are pure.
Yeah, I was going to say why do you have only those 3? Because it sounds to me like you're a huge Simpsons fan.
Because that's just the ones I've bought over time.
Those are the ones you really like, or you just bought?
No, I have 3. I bought 3, season 3, but I bought it on YouTube. So I bought it through YouTube, so I can just sign it to my Gmail and watch it anywhere. And that's cool. I don't have to watch commercials. But I do want to see I have to rebuy my season 4 because fucking Mike lost his fucking disc.
Yeah,
I don't have disc 2, and I realized disc 2 has Mr. Plow on it, which is a classic.
Mr. Plow. Oh,
Mr.
that's
Plow. Yeah, I was like, how come I haven't seen Mr. Plow in a while? I was like, that's just on disc 2. Fuck, and I don't have disc 2. And then season 5 I have, and season 6 I have. I want to get season 7. Rebuy. Yeah, season 2 is good.
Okay, so you're a big Simpsons fan,
my goal would essentially have seasons 2 through 9.
That's what I was gonna say. So if somebody who has never, it's probably rare, but somebody who has never seen The Simpsons, what would you recommend? What season, like, to start them off with?
Ah, man, I don't know. Like, I've seen The Simpsons so much, and I've seen especially those first like 8 seasons, maybe even those first like 6 seasons. I've seen them so many times, and I don't mean just recently. I'm talking about when I was a kid. Not only was it every day it was on TV, 2 times a day, but even in the summertime. I remember I had a VHS, and I think my dad made it.
Recorded.
And it was all shit that he had recorded off the TV, and it was just a compilation of all these seasons. It wasn't the entire seasons, and I used to just watch that all the fucking time. So, like, it's hard to say because those seasons, they're good for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, season 4 and season 5 are good because they're really just, like, wacky, almost nonsensical, almost like Family Guy-esque. We're, like, really just like really a lot of jokes, almost like not really cutaways in the Family Guy sense, but a lot of like sequences that are just random sequences that don't really apply to the plot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
But then season 2 and season 3 are more, they're more grounded in reality and like are more of a satire of traditional sitcoms coming out of the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and it was the Simpsons was like a satire of that, of all that wholesomeness that you got in the 80s, you know, of sitcoms, and like the family sitcom like Family Ties and the Cosby Show and all these different like family based, right?
Right.
The Simpsons was counterculture. They were like totally making fun of that, and like Homer's alcoholic and Bart's a fucking asshole and Lisa's like this depressed like. Smart, and Marge is just like enabling, you know, housewife, and it was, you know what I'm saying? Because that's real life. You know, real life people are flawed. That's why The Simpsons was so revolutionary. Blah. So seasons 2 and 3, they're really kind of like, they're funny, but like they're kind of sad in a lot of ways, and they pull on a lot of like, okay, there's a episode. I always say in season 2, Lisa is actually the best in season 2 because she's constantly saying tragically like what's the word, man, fuck, she's saying like she's always saying like these like philosophical, like tragically like philosophical, like she's really smart, she's always saying really sad like things, and it's fucking funny because the rest of the family is so stupid. And every time she says something really like sort of like painfully true, everyone always tells her to shut the fuck up, you know, essentially.
Isn't there one? I think you told me.
And I don't know why.
The Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, the aliens. So like, wow, the one that I always think about is the one where Homer, Bart plays miniature golf, and he enters a miniature golf tournament against the Flanders kid. Right. And Homer and Flanders make a bet. So Homer becomes like this overbearing like sports dad, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like talking shit and like, he's yelling at him, and Bart's all like tripped out and stressed. And there's a scene where Bart's kind of fucked up, and he's like, man, like I don't want to do this. My dad's on my ass, and it just sucks. And Lisa sees him and like sees that he's hurting. Yeah. And she goes, you know, it's times like these I'm glad our father takes no interest in anything I do. And I don't know why. But I just thought that was the funniest line because it's so fucking sad. Yeah. But it's so funny because like I don't know why. So she has a lot of lines like that. So in my mind, like season 2 is a lot, I don't know, it's really, it's more story driven, you know what I'm saying? Like it's more emotionally involved, but also really funny. And then season 4, season 5, they're just wacky. Just a lot of stupid jokes, and what's weird is like every line is a joke. Like every line is a single joke that can work on its own. And it's also a setup for the next line, which is a joke. And then also every line progresses a story and tells a story, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just mind blowing. Like
very soon we're gonna get all of them on Disney Plus. You gonna get Disney Plus?
Yeah. Honestly, I could talk about The Simpsons.
Yeah.
For hours.
Well, what I was gonna say, what the CEO of Netflix said, and he mentioned that, you know, because Netflix has been declining, you know, ever since they raised their prices, and now you have Disney. They're gonna pull all their stuff in December. So the CEO is banking on, because they're in the hole. They're like $2 billion in the hole in debt, and they're only gonna add more because they want to create more content. So he said that
recently I've been like super in love with Netflix. I've been watching a lot of Netflix.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm off and on.
You have? What do you have?
I have Netflix.
But you have smart TV.
Sports TV.
Sports TV.
Yeah.
So you're just bootlegging everything now.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well. But you know, I mainly use that for the pay-per-view. So even because like I'm still gonna get the plus, because you know, just to have everything on one platform, it's really convenient. You don't have to look through it, because sports TV you still have to look through stuff unless it's pay-per-view. Then you know where it's at. Anyway, what the CEO said was that all they need to do is create more interesting content. which you do kind of see with the Raising Dion and one of the Stranger Things that are so popular now. They got Big Mouth is a good one.
Yeah, I don't watch any of those shows.
They're good. F is for Family. You might like that.
I saw the first season. It was really good. The second season was just meh.
Yeah, the third season got
good.
They're good.
The first season was really good, and I'm a big fan of Bill Burr.
Yeah, so you have all this, but yet Netflix seems to still kind of be declining. I think their biggest, and over the summer, Christmas vacation is when they got their biggest viewing for Bird Box.
Fuck.
What?
Stop recording. Why did they do that? Wait. Okay, sorry. So what were we saying right now?
Okay, so the CEO of, just to bring it back around, I guess we'll figure it out.
This is why we need a fucking
separate recording
computer monitor.
Yeah.
Sorry, go. Finish your thought.
So the CEO of Netflix, with this looming Disney Plus coming around the corner in November, they still won't pull any other stuff to December, but their biggest time of streaming is usually during Christmas vacation, during all the holiday vacations.
Makes sense.
Which is when, the highest, right now, the highest streaming or whatever people views they've got was Bird Box. And that was broke records for streaming.
That was a cool movie.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
But they're kind of worried about this December 11th because now they're gonna pull
December 11th.
So December 11th,
when it launches.
That's when Disney pulls their Marvel, like all their Disney content. I think the last Disney movie that's gonna be on Netflix is gonna be Return of Mrs. Poppins or whatever. Mary Poppins, Return of Mary Poppins. There you go. And that'll be the last movie for Disney on Netflix. And then December 11th. Everything's getting pulled.
Return of Mary Poppins. Is that the one with Emily Blunt?
Yeah, that's a sequel to Mary Poppins.
That's what it was called? That came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to go to Netflix.
And that'll be the last.
And then that's the last Disney movie to ever go to Netflix.
Yeah. And then...
damn, Disney has so much power, huh?
Yeah. And then, so that's why I was saying, what makes Disney great? And I think Netflix, the CEO, is on the right. It just sounds like, you're spending a lot of money to get all this stuff out. Yet, how do you really know?
I mean, you know what? The thing is we're indoctrinated to love Disney, dude. Remember Jrat said, he said, oh, man, all I fucking see is Disney because I got 2 kids, and everything for kids is fucking has a Disney, stamp on it in some way or another. He goes, their fucking Pampers have fucking Mickey and Minnie on them.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been since when we were kids. You know what I'm saying?
So in a sense, you could say Netflix is gonna fight Disney with all this new content that they're releasing, and they're still planned to release by 2022, I think.
Can Netflix, who's a juggernaut?
Yeah.
Let's not understate that.
Yeah.
They're just a new juggernaut. It's almost like the United States going against Britain. You know what I'm saying? It's a new country or it's a new thing, but that doesn't mean it doesn't. It could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
got a lot of potential, and but Netflix, it's just new. You know what I mean? But it really
is.
It changes.
Disney,
It changed the entire way we watch television because Netflix really became the first popular, commonly used streaming service. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's one aspect of it that might change.
Disney's been around since fucking the 20s.
Well, what might change the game is Disney. It might make or break this. So Disney is going to release their own original content, right? So they're going to start off with The Mandalorian,
right?
Which is going to be a Star Wars series, right?
Right.
The Bounty Hunter, Boba Fett.
Right.
So they're only going to release an episode a week. So they're going to treat it as traditional TV.
Yeah. So, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So Netflix, on the other hand, they release their series all at once.
Well, I heard that they might switch and start doing that
they might
too.
Start doing that?
My dad was telling me about that because it had to do with people binging shows and then canceling their subscriptions. You know what I'm saying?
And then okay.
And then it's that's what my dad said. So I don't know. They're trying to.
I kind of like that though, on the way
I like to binge, but then at the same time, when it's over, it's like fuck.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, now I have to like wait. Who knows how long that's just gonna take? You know what I'm saying? Like I just finished watching Better Call Saul.
Mm-hmm.
I binged the first 3 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and then I finished the 3rd season, and it ended on like a gigantic cliffhanger. Now I have to sit around. Season 4 is already out, but it's not out on Netflix, so who knows when that fucking shit's gonna get on there.
What is Better Call Saul on?
What happened?
What network is that on?
AMC, I think. It's the same people who did Breaking Bad, because the prequel.
Okay.
Ooh, and then I saw the Breaking Bad movie. I didn't finish it though.
Oh yeah, that's Netflix original, right?
That's a Netflix original. Sorry, I'm lighting this joint. I didn't finish watching it. Ow. But what's funny is they did a recap of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
you mentioned that like it's like a
They
minute
did
long.
like a minute. They did
Make it
recap.
that lighter.
They recapped the whole series.
Yeah.
And
Damn it.
that 1 minute was fucking intense, dude. I forgot how intense that show was. Like crazy. That's the one thing about Better Call Saul that I probably don't like that Breaking Bad had was a tremendous amount of violence. And
Yeah.
and fucking Better Call Saul doesn't have as much of that. It's more about the lawyer aspect of his life, you know?
Right.
And his like personal relationships with his family and his brother and shit. Still a good show though. Still a good show. Well acted. Good character development.
So you gonna get Disney Plus?
It's
It's cheaper than Netflix.
Yeah, how much is it?
It's I believe $7.99, something like that. $6.99, $7.99, something.
Yeah,
like
for how long that's gonna be? Yeah, I'll probably get it. I'll probably use it. If that's what it's gonna be, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of my Hulu,
that. Oh, that's another thing.
and then I'm gonna
Hulu's
keep.
owned by Disney now, so Hulu's gonna have a bundle for the same price that you
Oh.
can get Netflix, and you can get Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus for like $11, $12, something like that.
Huh.
So
Then I'll probably. But I already have Hulu,
well,
and
yeah.
like since I already have an account, like a lot of times
they
you
might
have to
send
be
you a
like
message.
you might have to be like a first time user of Hulu to get that package. Because I tried doing that with my Spotify, and they wouldn't let me do it because I already had a Hulu account.
Yeah.
Fuckers. But it's Disney, so you know they might I don't know, fucking high. No, but but what I was gonna say is I'll probably get rid of my Hulu and keep my Netflix and just do Disney because I pay like $5.99 for Hulu right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that is the deal. Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
pay for Spotify too. I got too many fucking monthly subscriptions.
So the Hulu comes with the Spotify.
I forget. I think so. I forget somehow. Anyways, I pay $5.99 for Hulu, but I'll probably get rid of Hulu. Just fucking get Disney Plus.
Yeah,
then-
and then Hulu's gonna have like all the adult like stuff that they don't want on the Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is gonna stay PG-13, and then Hulu's gonna have like all the other stuff that's like rated R, like Deadpool and all the other stuff, FX stuff, because they also
What do you think
FX.
Disney's gonna do with Deadpool?
They're gonna leave it alone. They said they're gonna allow
know.
it to continue.
But so they're gonna allow it to be R.
Yeah.
But it's what are they gonna? I guess they're not gonna release it as a Disney movie then, or like under Disney.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen once
Is it
they
gonna
make
be in
new
the
one.
MCU?
There's a lot of talks that they want in the MCU. That remember they released that Deadpool Christmas or whatever,
Yeah.
and it was just like a Deadpool PG-13 Deadpool.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, no.
Oh, okay.
But
Did it have any sort of like new sequences?
I don't
or anything,
think
or it was
so.
just like
I think they
movie
just
cut out with all the good shit cut out essentially.
yeah. I think they just like cut out all the bad stuff, and then they might have added a scene after at the end, but I don't remember. I don't remember what.
See, the thing about Deadpool that's cool with him is that he like can so casually break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So anything they do, he can just acknowledge it and make a joke out of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And kind of like constantly acknowledge the audience. And so, you know, he could always just do that, and when something's weird or something's changed, he can acknowledge it and be like, yeah, we had to change. He can literally just turn and say, you know, I had to change it because you know why. And then you kind of, and it's always funny for some reason.
Well, yeah, like in the first movie when he talks about only having 2 X-Men.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
He goes, it's almost like the studio couldn't afford more X-Men. Yeah. I thought that was the fucking funniest line. Because I was like, man, this movie is pulling no punches. I love it. Deadpool, the first Deadpool is a classic. Deadpool 2 was, I guess, like, it was cool. But it was, dare I say, it was a rehash, really, of the first movie.
Deadpool 2?
Yeah. Kinda. Like, it's really just Ryan Reynolds making you laugh with crazy action sequences. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like the story wasn't like that.
That's what Detective Pikachu feels like.
Oh, really? I didn't see Detective Pikachu.
That one really feels like that. Like it's Pikachu, but it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Again, the reason why I like Deadpool is because of the violence.
Pikachu's a good movie though. It's an entertaining movie. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's very entertaining.
I did play a lot of Pokemon as a kid, so I'd probably get at least nostalgia for it.
Yeah, it is dope though how they made the Pokemon realistic and not like cartoonish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they look completely realistic?
No. They still have
like a CGI kind of look to them.
Yeah, but they
looks pretty cool.
It looks really dope. Like you can tell they really put effort into making the Pokemon look realistic while still keeping their features of like a cartoon-esque.
Okay, for sure. And I you know what? I saw the end of Detective Pikachu. And I was like, "What the fuck? This is stupid. Like, how did that even happen?"
Well, you have to watch.
I didn't see the movie. I just saw the end. You got to see the whole plot, but it looks stupid. I don't know.
It's good. It is because I figured it out. Like before. Okay, this is how you know. I guess it depends on your opinion, but the way I judge a movie on whether it's good or not is how easy it is to predict the ending. Because usually you can predict an ending of a movie, you know. And this one I got it a little less than halfway. I kind of figured, I was like, oh, this is what's gonna happen, and then sure enough,
that's what happened.
The end, that's what happened. Yeah, but just watch it. It's a good watch. It's nothing great. It's entertaining. You have nothing to do, and you want to just try something new, and you know you're gonna have fun with it. That watch it.
You know, it probably you know what movie I saw like one day it got a lot of praise, but it was like a kids movie essentially. And then I watched it and I was like, man, this movie's the shit. Is Lego Batman movie.
Oh,
that movie was fucking hilarious. I was like, man, this movie's the shit. And I like I'm a Batman fan, so
yeah.
I guess it was just cool to see all like the Batman references, I guess.
But it's funny because the Lego movie breaks the fourth wall like constantly. So
yeah, well,
it's almost like Ryan Reynolds.
I like that.
What's his name?
Does he break the fourth wall in Detective Pikachu?
I can't tell you for sure, but
what do you mean you can't tell me for sure?
Because I don't remember exactly. But
okay.
I feel like there was a couple of scenes that they did, but I don't remember. I don't think so. I do love their trailer though with that "I Need a Hero" song, and then like they have like the Pikachu doing all the crazy shit. Yeah, you didn't watch the trailer? Oh, dude, watch that trailer. It's fucking dope.
Yeah, man, I'm not that into Pokemon. Like I was into Pokemon as a kid, but
me either. But I mean,
I was actually just talking to my roommate Sean about this. How like RPGs, like turn-based RPGs, just don't really do it for us anymore. And our fucking other roommate Ryan, he's like obsessed with turn-based. All he does is play turn-based RPGs all day.
I don't get that either. Like Tom and Brian and Darren at work, they love that shit like on their phone. And then they're not even playing the game. Like there's this thing called like auto, like it's like an auto battle type shit. Like they press it, and so when they go to fight, like it's this game called it's a mobile game. I forgot what it is, but you go into caves and you fight like dragons, and then you get by fighting the dragons you get treasures and you get different monsters to fight those dragons.
I know what game we're talking about.
Yeah, and then so he they'll leave it on this auto battle feature, so they don't even have to choose what the fuck their monsters are attacking or anything. They just do auto battle, and they sit there and they just watch it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're not even playing the game. You're fucking watching like the shitty fucking 3D rendered fucking little clip of monsters
Yeah,
just moving and hitting each other.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're not even doing cool shit. Like they're just like moving and bumping like that.
I don't know. It is
Yeah,
weird, dude.
yeah.
Because like we were saying, how like like it's kind of cool, I guess, like the strategy of it. But like once you get into like hack and slash games and like with RPG elements, that's what I was saying. I'd rather play games with RPG elements, but you're still like controlling your guy and
Yeah.
you're fucking kicking ass.
Well, like Red Dead,
Yeah,
fucking
Batman.
God of War, Batman.
Yeah, and like it's I don't know, turn-based RPGs I guess are just too slow. But see, I don't. Ryan always says the same thing. He goes, "Wow," he goes, "the story's really good, and I really like the art. I like the art, and the graphics, and it's like I guess I suppose
there's this game called
she's a little nerdy to me.
Octopath Traveler.
Okay.
And it came out for the Switch, and the art on that, it's like pixelated, but it's also like this like 3D kind of a world. So it's almost like, imagine they made this like paper mache town and stuff, and it's like all pixelated. That's how it looks. So it's like coming off of the so it doesn't just look like 2D. So that turned me on to, so I downloaded the demo. And I was like, man, this game's fucking dope. And it got me onto, I was into the story in the beginning. And as soon as I got into the gameplay, I was like, man, this shit's fucking boring. But it looks nice.
Yeah.
I just can't get into the whole turn-based.
I kind of get like the mobile aspect of it, playing on your phone, because like you're constantly checking in on your phone. So I can kind of see the excitement of like getting on some, like Clash of Clans, right? Like you're constantly like updating shit.
Right.
And you're just really just updating your stuff. And like you go to battle, but even then like it's not really turn-based, but I guess maybe that's not a good example. But like even with the dragon game,
right?
You're updating your guy, and you have to wait a certain amount of time to whatever. That I get, because like I said, you check in on your phone, so it kind of goes with the flow of a phone. Yeah. But like when you're sitting in front of a game console and like sitting in front of a TV, and you're just like, like you're just picking actions. Like that's why I also never really like, they did those Tall Tale games, like the Batman Tall Tale games.
Yeah.
Did you ever play those? Like the point and click?
Well, I played the Walking Dead one, and it was really good. I liked it, and I could get into that. But that's not like a turn-based thing. But yeah, you get like different paths that you get to choose and stuff.
And you kind of just pick an action, and then the action gets done out for you. Yeah.
There are some like action sequences where like they make you press like X real quick if you need to do something, like where it requires, like if a zombie jumped on you and you
right.
There's a game that's like that's really fucking good, and I think we talked about it before. It was Detroit, I think it was called. I forgot what it was called, but it's about, in Detroit, it's like in the future, 2030 or 2040, something like that. And androids have been made, so now the androids are starting to gain consciousness. And that's you choose your actions of what you want to do, and depending on what you choose will affect the story. And you have 3 main characters, and what you choose in one story may also affect the other stories that continue. So you won't always get the same story when you go back and play.
Yeah.
So you can always choose something different.
A lot of games do that type of stuff for what's called replay value. Like you can replay the game because there's different outcomes and this and that. But one run through of a game is usually good for me.
Yeah, but with that game, the Detroit Android game thing, I've actually, games like that, Ash and I can sit there and play together.
Okay.
And
because it's very cinematic.
Yeah, and it's more of a movie than it is a game.
Yeah.
So for us, we really get into it. Like when we were playing that Detroit one with the androids, she was sitting there, we were sitting there just playing that shit, and then Ethan was in school, and we were just sitting there just. We played there for a couple hours.
Oh, really?
And then she was
Did you guys smoke pot at all?
No, we were just. Oh no, we were actually we I think we drank a little bit, but that was it. We just had like a few beers, and then we were chilling right there. She was doing laundry. Well, it was like the first couple of days that Ethan went to school, because he went to school like on a Thursday, and she had both those days off. So we were chilling, playing that game, and we finished the game together. So we enjoyed it, and it was like watching a movie.
How romantic!
Yeah, sitting there drinking a 6-pack.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The game while your kids at school.
Ash is in love, dude. Shit like that, you keep it up. I know. I feel you. I've been wanting to really get into a game lately, but like, money's been tight and shit, so I haven't really been able to even buy. I saw one game that was pretty cheap at GameStop the other day. I walked in just to see what they had. Horizon Event Zero Dawn or something.
Oh, the one with that girl.
Zero Dawn Horizon, I think it's called. Event Horizon Zero Dawn.
The Event Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, it's Horizon Zero Dawn Horizon, I think. I don't know. So, but it's like like a pretty in depth like
that's the one
like
with
third person
with
kind of
the chick with like the robot.
Yeah, she has like it's like cavemen, but then there's like also like robot
Robots,
dinosaurs
yeah.
and shit.
I think it has some RPG elements.
Yeah, that's
right?
like RPG.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Shadow of Mordor, like third person.
Yeah.
With RPG elements, hack and slash kind of shit.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor was a fucking sick ass game.
Oh yeah, dude, I played the second one actually.
Ooh, the second one I haven't played that one. The first one, man, I was obsessed with that game. That game was so dope.
I remember the day
stealth
you
games.
finished it. Actually, we were playing. I think we were playing GTA or Rocket League, and then you got on just to tell us that you beat the game.
I was actually mad.
Yeah, that's why because Mike was like, "Are you gonna get on with us or what's up?" You're like, "Nah." I just kind of wanted to tell you guys because after you finished the story about how you were angry about what happened, and then Mike's like, "All right, what's up? You gonna get on? Play some Rocket League?" You're like, "Nah." Just kind of wanted to tell you guys that.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go to bed right now.
Yeah. Well, I was probably late. Yeah, no, the ending was the game itself and the gameplay and everything was great, but the ending was tremendously anticlimactic, in my opinion, which sucked because the whole game up until that point, literally up until the very fucking end, was fucking amazing.
It's Soprano'd you?
I guess so. Yeah, I was like, what the hell was that? What do you mean? I just sat here for months. I don't want to give it away, I guess, so I won't say what it is, but I just thought it was anticlimactic. So, but man, it was so dope. I love stealth games too. That's why
the story to it was what you're like this knight that protected.
The story is it's weird because like it takes place in Middle Earth, but there's no characters from.
Well, does it take place after
it
the events of Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. I don't know if it's specified. I can't remember. The only characters that are in the game are orcs, Gollum, and Sauron.
So then it has to take place before then.
Yeah, I guess so. So it must be a prequel. And like, there's no Gandalf. There's nothing like nobody else. Just it's almost like Rogue One, a Star Wars story. You know what I'm saying? Like it's its own thing. It just takes place in Middle Earth, and what happens is you get killed. Your family gets killed. This is right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Your family gets killed, and then you get killed. But then like you're given like a curse or something.
Yeah.
Where you can't fully cross over into the spirit world. So then what happens is you get to go back to life through the power of this super powerful spirit.
That's great.
Through the power of this super powerful spirit, you go back into the real world, and then so you're all bombing fighting, but then you also sort of have like superpowers, like the ghost could help you, like spirit powers, and the ghost could help you give like massive damage, and like you have like wraith vision where you could like because you have to like take out via stealth, you have to take out like orc strongholds and shit, and it's a sick ass game, almost like Batman, Arkham Knight, or Arkham City, or fucking Spider-Man, PS4 Spider-Man. Very similar, but like the stories and the aesthetics are very different.
Yeah, when I was playing it, in the beginning it's really hard until you get used to it, and then when you get used to it,
also you have to upgrade your guy.
Yeah.
Because like before, when I first started, I couldn't fight anyone. I could barely take on one orc, and there was like times, and it's kind of open world, so you like, it's within a map. It's not completely open world, but like you can kind of do whatever you want. There's no linear storyline.
Yeah.
There is, but you could do whatever you want. You could choose whatever you want to do in whatever order. But some shit you try and do, you get your ass kicked because you're not strong enough, you know, because you got to upgrade your guy.
Yeah, like if you stumble into stronger.
By the end of it, before I beat the game, I was beast, bro. I was taking on like 50 orcs at once, like no problem.
Walking through the like.
Hell yeah, with my sword and just like
come
beast.
on,
like no
bitches.
one could step to me, bro. No one could step to me. No orc could step to me.
You ever watch that movie Bandersnatch on Netflix?
No.
That's got like a similar like choice. It's like what I was talking about, you know, like the Tall Tale Games and that Detroit game. You choose what you want the characters to do in the movie, and then it'll lead to a different ending. And then I think it keeps looping around. It's supposed to be like this philosophical kind of like gets you watching it. Bandersnatch is from the people who do. I think it's the same. From the same series, but just a movie from Black Mirror.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's called Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch.
Yeah, it's just about this guy who.
And where do you play it at?
Netflix. You watch it. It's a movie.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never seen it, but that was supposed to be the start of what's called interactive entertainment.
Yeah,
So it's like it's not quite a video game,
but it's not a movie.
Not a movie. And what's funny is like, you know, because I'm fucking an adult now, and I'm probably more into video games now than I was even when I was a kid. You know, video games were just sort of around, but I did other things too. And it's funny, like when I tell people who don't play video games, who are adults or people who are older than me, who still think like well, video games are for kids or children or for children. Like I'll come and I'll be like, man, I just finished. Tell my dad, I just finished Spider-Man, and he's like, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, it's like I just watched The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, man, that shit shook me to my core. You know what I mean? Like, and my dad's like, what? Like, what the fuck? How can a video game possibly like emotionally wreck you like that? You know what I'm saying? And I try to explain to him, I'm like, you don't understand. Games now,
it's a different. Yeah,
they have they have the graphic ability to really immerse you. It's like watching a movie, except you control the main character.
Yeah, and you know, you have to grow up with that to understand it, because the same thing with okay, so people who don't play video games, if they start, let's say they never played a video game, or maybe they did a little bit here and there, but if they didn't continue out through their lives, like you and I or Mike,
right?
You know, where we still play video games, they'll never, like Ashley could never pick up a game and get into Spider-Man or get into even if she tried. I don't think she could. Like maybe I would have to be there with her.
Cause like see Ash, and like I know people who like, oh yeah, I'll watch someone play video games because graphics are so dope. It's dope to look at, but to sit there and like learn the gameplay and really sort of understand the hand-eye coordination.
Because it's almost like a language you have to learn.
It's weird, huh? Because like it's all in your fingers.
Yeah, and then you know, if somebody if we gave Ash, we could probably try this. Give Ash a couple games to play. Don't tell her anything.
See how long it takes you to figure it out.
Yeah, or get pissed off and not want to play the game. And it kind of sucks for people who don't play when they're kids and they grow up with it. Yeah, because then they'll never get to enjoy them like we do. And
it is kind of like there is a problem-solving aspect to it because. Right. You know, when you pick up a game, there's trial and error because you have to start it and then like figure out it'll tell you what buttons to do, but you still have to learn like the rhythm of the game and the rhythm of like if you're fighting like enemies and like how they're gonna come at you and the algorithm.
Yeah, and that all comes from us playing games and learning that from previous games.
And what's crazy is like computers and video game systems or video games, programming has the ability to really make some pretty advanced like AI enemies, like that have completely different algorithms and there's really no pattern to what they do. But at the same time, like when you start video games, a lot of times like they'll tell you what to do. X is punch, this is jump. Like back in the day, like Super Nintendo, I guess, or like even before that, like Nintendo, like you had to figure everything out, like what button was what and this and that, on top of like, enemy patterns and this and that.
You know what's interesting too is I don't know how you figured out how to run on Super Mario, but I didn't think about that until recently. Actually, so I think I was watching a video on YouTube on how they were talking about how, games that don't tell you exactly what you're talking about, but how did you learn, how to do those things? And
you teach yourself, dude.
Either you teach yourself or you have older kids that,
right,
or who knows,
right.
you know, maybe your cousin or whatever, and they teach you,
and
it just gets around from word of mouth. But there is a playbook that Nintendo used to release.
Yeah, like Nintendo Power, right?
Yeah, and they used to show you how to.
And games used to come with manuals too.
Yeah, so sometimes you can learn from that, but most of the times it's passed down from like your older cousins or whatever. Like
I remember on Super Mario World, there's I used to play that game all the time. Never passed it ever, because it was just too damn hard.
Yeah.
There's a level where the first 10, 15 seconds of the level are just all these turtles, these Koopa turtles, right?
Yeah.
The green ones. And like when you do it, you kind of naturally just start jumping on them to get them out of the way, right? Doot, 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 doot. So if you can manage to dodge all those turtles, and it's not that hard, you just have to think, oh, I'm going to dodge them all. Mm-hmm. And then, so if you can dodge all the turtles and get past them, there's like this these little pound things. Remember, they used to look like that, and then you jump on them, and then, like things would turn to coins and shit. Yeah. There was like a special one you could find, and if you went and you stepped on it, all those turtles would turn into silver coins as opposed to the gold coins. Silver coins, which were like 1-ups, but a bunch of them. And then you would just run and take all the silver coins, because they were just all right there, and you could just now the path was totally clear because everything's silver coins, and then it would give you like 99 lives or something.
Oh shit!
Right. So my cousin, like you said, my older cousin, showed me that. He's the one who showed me that, and I asked him where he learned it from, and he told me that he saw it on a cereal box. Yeah, that he one morning was eating breakfast, going to school and eating cereal, and like cereal boxes, because
they have pictures in the back.
They have like pictures, and they would before,
or kids cereal.
This is the 90s. This is the early 90s, so like shit was on TV and shit was on cereal boxes, for kids, because kids eat sugar cereals. So he said he saw it on a box. Nintendo was advertising on their box, and it was like a special secret and this and that. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's a trip.
Forget why I brought that up.
Well, we're just talking about your dad saying not getting why you said, "Man, the Spider-Man blew me away." Yeah, well, it's crazy. Ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm all faded, dude.
All right.
Do some good shit.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. We enjoyed that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. You were I got ash on my keyboard. Nice. You were like the coordinator of this one. Not the coordinator. What do you call it? What do they call it when they have a debate, presidential debate? And then there's the person who's asking the questions.
The curator?
The curator?
Yeah. I think.
Or the mediator?
Mediator.
But
the something 80er.
The something 80. Oh, fuck.
Hey, we're back.
Let's do the clap real quick.
All right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I realize now we didn't do the clap when it stopped recording. Oh, because we're just going to use the audio.
Yeah, off of the video.
We probably still should have done the clap. I don't know, actually.
Well, this will be a testament to your skills.
Yeah, don't worry. I got that Adobe unlock. Anyways, all right. Well, thanks for fucking listening, everybody. Just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us on Spotify. We could use some monthly listeners.
Yes, please.
Any final words for Rebay?
No, thank you guys, man. That's about it.
All right. See you guys.